Hello, hello. Um, it's been a hard morning. It's been a really hard morning. And it's funny because it started off relatively good. I had a lot I've been wanting to kind of like catch up on. So much has happened in this past like week. It's wild to think that it's only even been a week. I'm 7 days without smoking weed during the day, and for anyone who knows me, would know like that I smoke. I'd smoked a fair amount. Um, Before I met my partner, I smoked maybe like one or two a day, like joints, and even that, like that's a decent bit. But like I wasn't, getting home from the gym, smoking a full joint, getting bored, maybe 2 hours later, smoking another joint. Getting realizing, oh, I need to eat, smoke another joint, finish eating, smoke another joint, and it was really getting excessive. And my partner is the kind of person like he'll smoke from the time he wakes up, and so it's it's the same as like whenever I'd quit cigarettes where he'd started vaping like really hard, and so I started vaping, and then whenever I quit vaping he started smoking cigarettes again and like chain smoking, and he's still smoking cigarettes, which is fine. That's provocative. That's whatever. um but my mornings have been, like, I want to say relatively the same, if not like actually a little less irritable than I have been, because I don't typically smoke in the mornings, especially because like I'm driving my daughter to school, I'm driving up to the gym on base, and like I work out on a military base. Um, Today I was going, like, I have to go to work out with a friend at a different gym. I got invited for just, gym session and brunch with one of my lady friends. She's awesome, and also a personal trainer, so she's got like much the same commitment to her body and her mind and her practice. And so I was really looking forward to that. And I woke up early because my daughter had theater this morning, so I had to drop her off almost like an hour earlier than I normally do for school. And my partner had actually gotten up on his own, which typically like I kind of help him, and I like give him that little bit of a nudge forward. This morning, however, I put my phone down last night. We don't take our phones in our bedroom anymore, and so a lot of the time, like whenever we're kind of gearing down and starting to spend more time together, I'll put my phone in the other room. Last night, I'd had so many messages that I had to get back from, but I'd gotten back from a meeting, and I I had a lot of messages. So I was like, okay, you know what? Like I'm gonna get back to half of these, and I'm gonna put them down, and then full you time. But that meant that I had more to get back to this morning. And so whenever I was at, like, I got up, I was getting my like hydration drink ready, my coffee ready. I got maybe 3-4 sips into my coffee before I had to like head her out. And my partner was having a tiff with his phone, and he was trying to tell me like, oh, this thing isn't working, and like work isn't working, blah 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 blah. And that's fine, but like I was on my phone responding to these messages and talking, like making up, or like making the plans to meet up with my friend this morning, asking my women's circle if my daughter was able to come in because like it was something relevant to that morning or this morning. um and it's on Monday, so I wanted to arrange earlier. Anyway, I don't have much time today. This is actually some of the only free time that I have today. And it's because my friend, like, it's 8:55 now. My friend only comes into town at 8:40 or 9:40. So I have a little bit of time. It's just kind of, and I didn't want to go back home. I just fucking didn't. Anyway, my partner was really upset that I was on my phone. That's not common. Yesterday as well, he'd gotten upset and he'd suggested we should have a phone basket that whenever we get home, we put our phones in them. Anyone who knows me, again, knows I'm a business owner times two, tattooing, and the hippie hut, like my full-time art business. And so yesterday it was just like I had to make reels because today we're back to work, so trying to encourage people to come out to the market. Without marketing online, I don't think I'd have even half of the business I do. And so yesterday, while I was doing that, he was home on lunch and he was eating and watching South Park. So already well occupied. And he was upset that I was using my phone. He was upset that I was on my phone. And today, again, this morning, like he was already busy and he flipped it and I was so upset. I had sent him a text paragraph, of course, after I'm sitting at the marina here in Pembroke just to kind of look at some mountains, look at the water, calm the fuck down. It's hard not to take it personally whenever so much of my past was moderated by my partners. It's hard not to take it personally whenever so much of my attention is being asked from someone else, whenever it's not for anything super even valuable. Sorry. One of my biggest things lately, about a week ago on Friday, was my first rooms for Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm no longer I'm in active recovery. Like, I've been in recovery for quite some time. But one of the big things I've been asking Source lately is like, I feel as though I'm ready to serve and ready to better dive into myself. And the very next day after having had that meditation, one of my good friends at the gym, he's a member himself, he'd asked, he's like, would you like to join me in a room? He knows my story. He, is really happy with how much of it I've done already on my own. I'd never been to a support group. I've never been to rehab. I've never been to anything. Like, I was always very afraid of those public spaces. And it was really beautiful to go to the first one and realize that, like, okay, so it's not as Lord God focused as I thought it was. It's very much centered around like the God of your understanding, which for me obviously is Source. And that right away made me feel so much more comfortable. But it was it's beautifully structured. The community is amazing. Everybody's there to help constantly, to be sure that like we're all honest and accountable for our addictions and for ourselves. And within that, like right away, I was like, okay, yeah, weed. I didn't even realize how much I was still relying on things to kind of numb the pain and to numb my responses to the world. And that was hard, of course, because like, you make it so long past heavy addiction of like cocaine and substance use and abuse, and like I don't have a fucking nose. Like, I can go like this in between my nose because there's a hole about that big up my cartilage, like up the septum, like huge. Like, you can't see it in here, but like it's up about here. And like it's anyway, I have substance issues. Like, even whenever I recognize that I'm becoming too dependent on caffeine, I slow down because I recognize like I'm addicted to stimulants. I like stimulants. Alcohol was one of those things. My very last ever even sips of alcohol was about 5 months ago in January. And before that, it'd been years since I've gotten drunk. I think it's been closer to 4 years since I've had like an actual like fucking just drink after drink. Much less like more than half a drink. Still hard. Dealing now with the world, like raw dogging it, if you will. It's and being more conscious, like especially with the program, it's really telling to so many of the things that I've still kind of suppressed, and the things that I still kind of allow, and the things that are still really bothersome to me. And it brings up a lot, which is good because I need to be able and willing to see those things. But it also gets really daunting, and to feel such Like, my partner is otherwise very, very, very supportive of the program. He's very supportive of me and my journey and everything that I'm kind of working through to be able to kind of recover myself and my conscious awareness. However, he is very patterned himself, and I'm still learning to accept those things. I'm still learning to adapt myself to those things. Our 3 years together, the first two, well, the whole 3 years, I started smoking so much more heavily and kind of like almost keeping up with him with my phone use. It's actually probably gotten better. Like, I'm not getting stuck in the web of like reels as much anymore. I'm not catching myself as frequently like scrolling, and if I do, like, I tend to catch myself rather shortly after. Sometimes, of course, especially the past like week, the monkey brain takes over and it's just like, oh, distracted, looking at my phone, doing this, whatever. But so much of my work revolves around my phone, like setting appointments, making sure that, like, if so many people have questions about businesses and like open hours and this and that, and it's a lot to get back to. Then I have this, the YouTube channel and the Facebook page for the holistic stuff. I have my tattooing, so I have people constantly asking for design, asking for this, asking for that, and which is fine, like booking and what have you. And then I have my daughter, so I'm constantly scheduling things around that. I'm constantly getting back to emails from the city, from the stores that I'm in, from, and like the city is the people who put on the container market, like where I work the hippie hut from. And so there's always something I'm getting back to. Oh, crow. There's always something that I'm kind of like needing to attend to. And so this morning really threw me for a loop whenever my partner was just like, why aren't you paying attention to me? This is why I said I wanted the phone basket. This isn't like, this isn't good. And more than 80% of the time that we're kind of like at home, kind of winding down together, spending time, he's on his fucking phone watching reels. And that's a hard double standard. Especially whenever this past couple years, like getting rid of so many of the addictions, especially that I picked up in relationship again. And don't get me wrong, otherwise he's such a fantastic partner. He's considerate, he's thoughtful, you know what I mean? He's attentive. It's just, he's so lost in some of his own patterns that it makes it really hard sometimes to be able to rationalize that paragraph I sent him. I know I'm not gonna get an answer back. I get to stew on this all day. Which is probably why I'm saying it here out loud instead, because at least then it's out. Like, I know I'll have another chat with him later, and I'm sure I'll get the 10-second sorry. Where it's like, oh, sorry, shouldn't have done that. My bad. Bad. Slap on the wrist. But for me, I get to stew on this all day. I get to sit with this. I think it hurts so badly because I've had so many partners in the past where every fucking, my phone use was taken as a threat. My phone use was like, who are you texting? What are you looking at? Why are you on your phone right now? Why are you? And like, I've never hidden my phone. I've had partners where every time I put my phone down, they'd pick it up. They'd look at my junk mail and in my emails and be like, what's this thing? It's like, fuck. Nothing. Literally nothing. Get a message? No. I'm good. This week, aside from this, has been really good. My days have been manageable beyond what I thought that they would be, especially without smoking. Smoking has always been a really big crutch for me. I noticed how much less I eat, and like my digestive patterns are different, my sleep patterns are different, everything's different. And there's a couple days where like I'd have, and if I do have one, it's one at the very, very, very end of the day whenever I'm in bed, getting ready for bed. And even then, I don't want to do that anymore because I've noticed lately that, like, it's not helping me sleep. It's not, like, easing my mind. My mind's already tired by the end of the day. I don't know why. I'm getting tired by, like, 6. Maybe because it's the mental exhaustion, right? Like, kind of. I'm grateful for the program. If anyone's thought of it and, like, hasn't done it yet, I know I'm not supposed to be, like, promoting as much as I'm supposed to be advertising based off of my own progress, but I highly, like, it's good stuff. It works. It really works. Seeing so many people that I can relate to on such a big way, because it's like trying to have those conversations with someone like my partner who, even with their addictions that they do have, they're not super capable of, like, fully facing. It's really nice to have people who just understand that rock bottom and who are willing to kind of share space in that, and who are unapologetically and kind of apologetically, you know, they're just, they own their shit. They own their shit, and that's so fucking important. And it's teaching me again, keep owning my shit, keep like, keep showing up. My heart hurts today. A lot. It's been hard. A lot of my dreams, especially, it's the paranoia has definitely come back, and that's okay. I understand that that's part of my process, and that's part of, like, what I need to be moving through in order to actually properly heal. And so many like fractals of my old self coming through that I forgot were there. I forgot. And so I'm owning them the best ways possible. During the day, I'm a lot less irritable than I was, and I wasn't expecting that. I'm a lot less lethargic, and I got more energy. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm also a lot more aware of the things that were being numbed that aren't being numbed anymore. I'm very aware of the patterns that I'm breaking free of, but I continue to see in my environment. And that's hard, because I can't force the people in my environment to change. I can only change my environment. And there are a lot of factors to be considered, because the good has to be able to outweigh the bad, and it does right now. It really, really, really does. But the bad is really hard to handle right now. And so patience is absolutely required, both within myself and those who are loving me through this. Sorry, didn't get my full coffee this morning. It's definitely not the chipper post that I thought it was gonna be. Up in, like, even yesterday, I was like, oh, I want to record this post because there's been so many good things happen over the last, like, week. Like, last weekend, even, like, being at the metaphysical show, art vending and such like that. It was a slow weekend, but the people, like, I knew that there was going to be at least one person. I knew it was a guy that was going to be coming up to me, and he did. He was he was a psychic reader at the event, and he'd come up to me because I was talking to, it was either his partner or his work partner, or whoever the lady was at the thing with him. And we were just talking about feathers, and, like, you know, I find feathers and bones and wood, and I piece them all together, and I make cool things. And so she was talking to him, and he kept looking over at my table, and the readers were against the walls, and I was in the center, and I was just like, dancing away in my flow, and I'd had this kind of, like, I had a song in my heart, and so I was just tapping away. And again, it was my first days being without any sort of buffer, any sort of, I didn't microdose, I didn't smoke, I didn't have anything to kind of, other than my own energy and other than my own ability to kind of clear my own field. And he'd run up to me. He's like, I had to stop the conversation I was having with my friends over there because I had to come tell you this. Like, you need to know. And he's like, I hope you know. He's like, I was asking my friend that you were talking to, like, what does she do? And she's like, well, she finds stones, she finds feathers. No, no, no. What does she do? And she's like, well, she's an art. She makes art. No, 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 no. What does she do? Is she a reader? Is she psychic? Is she offering her healing services? Like, does she know she needs to be doing this? Does she know, like, does she know what she is? And he came over with that exact energy, being like, are you aware? Like, do you... And so, Trevor, if you're watching this, thank you. I'm glad that I'm finding more and more of the people that I'm meant to be finding, especially since making that kind of contract with Source that I'm ready to serve. And I truly do feel that. I feel as though I am ready enough within self. And he was confused. He's like, why aren't you all ready? And I'd mentioned a little bit of my story, a little bit of my process, and that I didn't want to commit before I was ready. And even then, I don't like the idea of like finding people to sell my services to. I want those people to be able to find me. And that's how it's always happened. People just find me, and then I'll share in those moments of connection and of learning, and then the healing kind of comes authentically. And so it was beautiful for almost immediately after that, my good friend to be like, hey, come with me to a room. And that was my first room with AA, listening to one of his friends speaking. And then the next one was listening to my friend speak and tell his story, which was beautiful because I know a good deal of his story, including some more intimate details, but I didn't know the whole story. And that helped a lot to know him and to be able to offer him that support whenever that's needed, and likewise to know where he's coming from whenever he's sharing his bit, or like whenever we're communicating. Another one of my psychic friends had come to me recently, like since asking Source again to put me back on path, and she was saying, she's like, Brooke, you're right in league with me. She's like, maybe even a little higher. She's like, she's like, you're getting it, and I see that you're doing it, but she's like, you need to know, and there's so much more you need to know. And I'm still now only finding myself stepping into that and stepping into the ability to be ready to receive that. And I do think massively in part, getting rid of weed needed to happen before I was able to dive so much more deeper into this. And not because weed is bad. I will never, it is such a tool and it is such a medicine. However, it is absolutely vital use versus abuse in terms of using it for a sacred tool, using it for sacred medicine. It is not to be, just, it's 420, man. It's just not it for me. And I understand that a lot of people are like that, and that's fine. And a lot of people require that medicine more regularly, and that's fine. I, at this point in my life, no longer do. And so now it was starting to create that disconnect as opposed to that connection. And now whenever I am partaking more mindfully, I'm feeling that mystical effect. That energy is moving through me more naturally, and I'm able to access that. But now it's showing me more. I have that inside. I have that within me anyway. And so if anything, it's more just learning to refine that ability as opposed to using those medicines to be able to help me with that ability. Does that make sense? And so now, my dear friend Yvonne, I love her so much. I knew her years and years and years ago, and we had just recently reconnected. And whenever she was mentioning to me, like, you're right up there in league with a lot of us, she'd also mentioned, she's like, this is your last time around. This is your last incarnation. Like, you get to choose if you want to come back after this, but this is the last trip around. And it confirmed something that I'd been thinking for a long time, and that was daunting. But now, as I'm kind of coming to step more into help, step more into self, step more into this path, whatever it is, whatever that looks like, I cannot know. I cannot know. There's no amount of intuitive knowing that will show you your own forever future, your own everything. Just there just isn't. It doesn't matter how much ayahuasca you take. It doesn't matter how much medicine you or there's no telling what that entirety looks like. And so to step more into it more completely I feel ready. And the song actually at the metaphysical show that I had been tapping away to was I believe in being ready. I believe in being ready. I believe in being ready for the time is drawing near. And I've daily, if not at least once every other day, I've had that song stuck in my head and in my heart. And it is so, I believe in being ready, and I'm getting ready. I'm building myself ready. I'm trying. I'm fucking trying so hard. And not trying as hard as I was. Less control, more flow. And it's working. It's fucking working. My people are literally like popping up everywhere where I need them. And again, it's people that I never would have been able to know were the people I needed in my path, like Trevor, like Yvonne, like Heather. I have so many people now that are in the practitioner community that I'm able to kind of draw into. And I don't know whether that's eventually going to lead to me offering those services professionally or for like a money or monetary exchange. I feel like there's got to be some form of exchange, which makes sense, but I don't know if that's going to be a monetary exchange. I enjoy the idea of offerings. Like, I feel like that feels good to me, but that's still learning. I was talking to a friend of mine, actually, the one that I've been going to these rooms with, and he was saying as well it almost takes away whenever you're trying so hard to like make from it. And I don't want to simmer into that bypassing. I just don't. No good martyr made famous ever ended well. Not to put myself in league with like any of the ascended masters, but I mean, Jesus, people did not handle that well. He was out there offering miracles to the whores and lepers, but it was the worshipers that were like, he loves us the most. No, the people who needed him the most were the ones who loved him and knew him the most. The people that he knew needed their help received his help without question. That was it. The people, like, where he needed to be was where he went. Nothing else in mind other than to be able to help and offer, and what a lot of people would refer to as God's will. And that's it. That's truly what this feels like. It's God's work. And God is different to everyone. And so I say God interchangeably. I say God as God consciousness or source energy or whoever your denomination of worship, that is what I mean. I keep coming out to the water anytime that I have something that really needs to just be washed away. I need to be braver and start going into said waters. It's been a long while since my cold training. But I'm finding ways to come back to source, to come back to self. Even when my environment is so opposite, even when my environment is restricted or in their own state. And I'm not, to circle back around to my partner, I'm not trying to put blame on him. I recognize that, like, especially being upsetted by and taking personally those actions, that that can be, and probably is in a big way, me blaming him for his mood this morning, me blaming him for his actions. But more than anything, I feel like I'm just kind of frustrated. And it's okay too. However, I need to be able to maneuver that in my own ways, which I am. That's why I'm not at home right now. Speaking of which, it is now 9:20. I'm going to allot myself some time before going into the gym with my friend and going out for brunch, and then getting my oil changed, and then going to the hippie hut for the evening, where I will be drawing tattoos and working on stock. It is my version of chaos. It's my preferred version of chaos. It's the life I've asked for. I'm just learning to adjust to it. I hope someone resonates with even a little bit of this. If not, I mean, I feel better. Have a blessed day, everyone. Love yourselves kindly. Be gentle to people. Be gentle to yourselves. If someone's in their shtick, give them love, not a lecture.